Hey, say hi, Zoe.
Hi everyone on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Yeah, she's not buying it either. So, I wanted to chat for a moment about people and companies who are scammers. I received a phone call a couple of days ago. One of my friends said, hey, I got a really strange message. Could you do me a favor and let me know if it's legitimate or not? And I said, sure, no problem. So they sent me their voicemail message that they had left behind. And so I'll go ahead and play it now.
Hey, this is Officer Catherine Richardson, batch number 002569 from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This message has been sent to you as a final notification against your case with the Department of Tax and Crime Investigation. Right now, your physical address is under investigation and an arrest warrant has been issued under your name. For further queries and resolving this case, contact the below number of the Tax and Crime Investigation Department, 786-868-0258. I repeat, 786-868-0258. Thank you.
So as you can, figure out, it's clearly a fake one, hence this video. But my friend who's well educated was not certain of it. It sounds serious. They say Department of, and it could be Department of Homeland Security, could be the IRS. We've had, I've heard people getting calls from that. And so they get these messages, voicemails, sometimes emails, and they think to themselves, oh my gosh, maybe it's legitimate. So, kind of my day in and day out, I kind of think, okay, most people would know. And then I was reading the local Times here, and it said that the police responded to Dick's Sporting Goods at an address about 20 miles from where I live. It says before October 10th. It says the store manager said, nope. Okay, that actually happened, but that's not the one I was wanting to read. Okay, let's get to the right story here. Probably should have marked this off because it was really sad. Oh yeah, there he is, right underneath. Okay, so a resident that's on Telegraph Road, pretty close here to the Detroit suburbs. It says the man said that over the past 6 months, so this individual has been corresponding with this scammer for 6 months. I mean, think about that. It used to be, back kind of in the day, 20 years ago, if someone didn't, if you weren't able to hook them right away, you just hook on and move to the next person. I mean, this guy is 6 months. That I think is part of the new scammers approach, is building that long-term relationship. And long-term for scammers is really anything over a day or two to make it sound like they're legitimate. And anyway, it says the man said that over the past 6 months, he has been called several times by a middle-aged man who spoke with an accent. The caller identified himself as a computer technician and stated that he would restore the victim's credit accounts and cleared his computer from multiple viruses. In return for these supposed services, the victim was ordered to purchase several gift cards from various relators and supply the caller with the serial number of the payment. The resident did as the caller directed. Guess how much? I mean, this is someone local. That's the crazy part. Guess how much this guy was taken to the bank for? I mean, that's legit money. He was taken to the bank for $38,000. I'm just blown away. $38,000 this guy lost through gift cards, right? Okay, you can pay me. I mean, it's just the oddest thing. Like, most people probably watching this video are probably going, well, yeah, why the hell would you want gift cards? That doesn't even make any sense. Who's like, hey, you want to buy that car over there, that Toyota? Looks real nice. Hook me up with some gift cards from Dick's Sporting Goods. It doesn't even make any sense for us, but maybe that's just because we're young, maybe we read, we're a bit more aware. But yeah, $38,000. Are the police gonna find this guy? No, there's just almost no way. I mean, spoke with an accent, could be located anywhere. If he or she is anywhere outside the continental United States, no chance in hell. And because this isn't a prominent person, they're not going to have the required technical infrastructure expertise to really figure out where this guy came from, back search the IP address and blah, 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 and really try and figure out. And even if they did, if he's not on the U.S. territory, nothing's going to happen to the person. And they give gift cards. So that's the only way to catch this guy, right? And that's, okay, let's figure out when the gift cards were used. Well, most likely, since it happened for so long, the guy probably spent all the gift cards. And they're probably all online to another bogus address. So it's just sad. But, you know, it's in the newspaper on a daily basis. I've got people who I really thought, okay, they're gonna have to know that it's not a legitimate call. Call and say, is this legitimate? So for you and I that are watching this video and you're saying, yes, this is very obvious, first thing you probably should do is check in with your parents. Check in with your grandparents. Make sure that they're aware. And it's very difficult for you and I to maybe say, yeah, specifically if someone calls for computer problems or if someone pretends to call from the government, right? It's hard for them to maybe know. And you know, next week or the week after, something else will be there, right? And all of a sudden it'll be, oh yeah, calling from the water department. I mean, you never know what the scam is. So the same old is always true. Number one, government does not call you and become proactive, right? No policeman's going to call you and say you need to report to the police station because there's been an issue with your address or the IRS. Government has rarely ever been proactive, and if they are, they're on your doorstep. They're not sending you an email. But what can we do? What can we communicate to our parents and our grandparents and our aunts or uncles that maybe we think maybe they don't know the best? Well, the first thing to do is check in. Anytime you're asked to pay, whether it's compensation through gift cards, cash, credit card, anytime they're asking for private information, you don't know? No problem. Ask a family member, hey, does this sound legit? 9 out of 10 times getting 2 or 3 people involved, it will solve that problem. They'll be like, yeah, no, I heard about it. I mean, the power of people in the community. That's the easiest way. So you got parents that say, sometimes I don't know, no problem. Give me the number, right? Have their kids call. Hey, who is this? What do you want? And they're going to be able to tell you very quickly. That's by far the best defense because these scammers are smart. Things will change over time. But awareness and asking your family, you know, your community is the best way to do it. Number 2, anytime it seems like pressure over the phone, over the email, voice messages, still over the phone, but voice messages, anytime something seems like it's got to be done now, or you better hurry up, there's a virus on your computer, that should be flags running high that this is an issue that probably isn't as big of a deal as it sounds. So again, check with your local community. If it's, well, we got to do it right now, or your credit card information could be gone in a second. Okay, sounds very scary, but you know what? Probably worth checking out with maybe someone who knows a little bit about technology or who's a bit, a family member to say, hey, John, does this make sense? Have you ever heard of this? Sally, have you ever heard of this? You know, people keep calling me and I don't know what to do. Be very careful. And the third most important thing that I think you can teach anyone who you suspect that maybe could fall into these victims is never give out any personal information. Never give out names, never give out addresses. Don't give out where they work. Even things that seem invaluable to them may be extraordinarily valuable. For example, someone could call up as a scammer and say, maybe they have the yellow pages, right? They're looking at the yellow pages. Oh, I see here, Sandy Warhol. I see you live at 22 South Main. Okay, here in Washington. So they may call up and say, hey, Sandy, we see here you live at 22 South Washington in Maine, and we're trying to figure out why you haven't paid this bill. So right now, it sounds legitimate. Oh my gosh, they know my information and they know where I live. It must be legitimate. But what do they want? Well, we need you right away to call and, figure out this bill. That's a hurry. That's a rush. That's your flag. Right? Something needs to be done right away. You've never heard of the company. Why all of a sudden is it a big rush? So my recommendation is make sure that you got holidays coming up. Make sure you communicate with your grandparents and with your parents, and maybe have your parents communicate with your grandparents. Hey, if anyone's calling up and all of a sudden asking for something you've never signed up, you've never heard of, it does not hurt a thing to involve more people. Ask your family member, ask your parents, ask other people. If it's that big of important in a rush, a couple more minutes won't matter anyway, because rarely in life is something like that important. And if it is, we're usually centralized to that. So that would be my recommendation. Make sure during the holidays you're communicating that and you're educating people on asking. And if inkling, even something seems illegitimate or doesn't seem right, validate it, verify it. Ask your friends, ask your family, send an email to a colleague, say, hey, have you ever seen this before? Do you know what this website is? 9 out of 10 times things are going to stop just like that. My friend's very knowledgeable, and I couldn't believe I got this message. So it really shows you how widespread and how good these tricksters are being. But they just sent me an email in 2 seconds. I responded back, don't call them back, don't give them information, and don't play around. Don't pretend like you know them and then give out more information. The more time you waste with them, the more they can figure out about you. And when you call back, you verify that you exist, which means now they're gonna send that phone number to 1,000 other people and say, hey, there's a male on this voice. He sounds that he's about maybe 60 years old. Have at it. We're gonna sell you that. That's a guaranteed live phone number for future scams, right off the bat. Unfortunately, this guy that lost $38,000, he's not getting it back. And there are many people who have lost more. So be careful. Get your friends and family involved when you're not sure, and stay safe out there. Thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe. If you have questions, comments, other suggestions for safety tips that maybe have worked for you, leave comments below. A lot of people end up reading and replying to the comments that I've left. So that's a fantastic way to continue this communication, continue this awareness. Thank you again. Have a great one. Now, where's the record button?